My name's Kristen Lena. I am your host. I am so excited. So this week starts the week where I'm not doing interviews every day. I'm not doing interviews every weekday. I'm just doing them once a week. So it's a super special interview, and I am elated to introduce you to my guest. I met her through another interview series that I actually asked her to be a part of for me. It was probably like a year ago. Let me just tell you her official title, because this is what had me woman crush Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday about this woman. Abiola Abrams is a self-worth midwife, spiritual success mindset coach, author, transformational speaker, and retreat leader who is passionate about empowering conscious women leaders to break through. Her last book, The Sacred Bombshell, Handbook of Self-Love, won Best Self-Help at the African American Literacy Awards. Oh my gosh, Literary Awards, my apologies. In addition to her online school, the Spiritpreneur Academy, Abiola shares inspiration on sites and publications from the Daily Om to Essence Magazine. She's given motivational advice on TV networks from BBC to MTV to the Discovery Channel. It keeps getting better. I honestly, I am so inspired by and lit up to have her here. We can talk about what she's working on, and we can go anywhere we need to go, but I'm going to pull her in and allow you to meet Abiola. Yay! Abiola, welcome. We're back together. I am so excited. Hello. How are you?
Hello, gorgeous. I'm so excited about this conversation, this much needed conversation.
Yeah.
I feel like we all at this moment in time, we need to come together and give each other this soul medicine. So, yes.
I love it. That is what the inspiration for this series is just coming together with the leaders in our world who are up to the new game, who are up to really serving people and really serving women. This show isn't just for women. However, this is the time for feminine rising. This is the time for feminine leadership. So let's talk about, I would love to, because we talked a little bit about this in our last interview series, but what I want to do is just have you give kind of an overall general background of who you are, what dips led you to your ups, like what breakdowns led to your breakthroughs, and who you are and what you're doing in the world. So take that wherever you want to go.
Yes. So first of all, when you started the series saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, that's how I start a lot of my podcasts. So I was like, yay, we are right here, just in a line. Always in sync. So I am a native New Yorker, born and raised, and my beautiful city right now is getting so, battered and beat up by, this current situation. And in fact, I am quarantined at the house that I grew up in. I'm quarantined with my family because I live in Manhattan and my parents live out in the outer boroughs, suburbs of New York. And I knew that if I stayed in Manhattan, I'd be exposed to other people and I wouldn't be able to be around them for months and months.
Yeah.
So I've been here quarantined with them since March, which is a very interesting thing.
I'm sure it is.
So I share that to say that, I am, first of all, a sister, a daughter, a future mother, a friend, all of those kinds of things. But the way that my magic shows up in the world is to be a catalyst, to be an alchemist, to be a sorceress, to be a space holder for other women who have big dreams and big ideas and big ways that they want to show up in the world. So I do my work through in-person retreats, which sadly this year is the first year in a long time that my retreat was canceled. It was supposed to be in June for the summer solstice at the here in Rhinebeck, New York. So I do my work through retreats, through online courses, and coaching groups, through podcasts and series like these, as well as books and other things like, goddess affirmation cards, etc. And what inspires me is that I am the first person in my family born in the United States. I am the daughter of immigrants. And so I don't take I don't take it lightly, the fact that, that we have agency and that we
Mm,
have a choice in, how we show up in the world, and that we're responsible for our own, how for the energy that we bring, and that it's not, from the point of view of, okay, woo, I made it, or I made it out, or whatever your situation is. It's no, each one teach one, each
mm,
one bring one, each one carry one, that
mm.
we're all really, really in this together. And if this current situation hasn't taught folks that, then I don't know, what will.
Right. Oh my goodness. You said it, and I've actually heard you say that. Each one, like each one teach one. I've heard, and my whole, like, I just got covered in chills because really, listen, as human beings, we have choice. We are at choice. We are responsible, and mostly what we're responsible for, that I think so many of us don't realize, is that we're responsible for our response or our reaction. So circumstances happen, and I find it fantastic that I said the intro the way you said it, and you said the situation we find ourselves in. This situation, that is what I'm labeling this time, is it's the situation we find ourselves in currently right now, and it's powerful. Talk about how, what was your process in learning that you actually have choice?
Yes. So, people always think when they're doing personal development work that, stepping into your power, stepping into your truth, or stepping into, or having a spiritual awakening, or however it is, wherever you fall on that dial, that it looks like, rainbows and, berries and
Oh, does not.
strawberries and things like that.
Yeah.
No, ma'am, it does
New.
not.
New.
So for me, I had a very hard, huge rock bottom that thankfully is now 10, plus years behind me, which was a divorce from someone who I thought we'd be together forever, that we've
Mhm.
known each other since we were young, and we, grew up together, and all of those kinds of things. And it felt to me very much like I recreated all of the dysfunction that I had seen growing up, in
Mm.
terms of relationships, in terms of love, in terms of um, expression, who gets to be happy, who gets to be angry, who gets to
Mm,
feel their feelings, all of those things. And I'm
wow.
feeling that pinging through the universe here as we're saying it. I in within my marriage, in a very short time, recreated all of that dysfunction, although I had already been doing personal development work, although I had already been reading the books and doing
Yeah.
those things. And I hear that so often, people say, well, why am I not there yet? I've been
Mm,
doing the work. I come to the things, I go to the workshops, and people are expecting that there's a hallelujah, I'm healed
mhm.
moment.
Yep, I made it.
Yeah, but I've got news for you. While we are in this earth school, every day we just want to do better than you've done before. You want
Mhm.
to do better than you have done, so you're not running your race against, all of these other people and other individuals. And, that's what, a beautiful series like this also teaches, that it's about collaboration, not competition. We are really, doing this together. And so it's about you being your best, being, and as Dr. Maya Angelou said so profoundly, when you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
When you know better, you do
Yeah.
better. So for me, experiencing that death of a marriage, for me, set me, which thank God now, thank
Yep.
goodness,
Yes.
set me off on, this beautiful path of looking for something, because all of the external things were not it. So
Mm.
it was like, okay, I got to go deeper within and
So it took
figuring that
it
out.
took the it took the dissolution of the relationship for you to start to ask those questions about yourself deeper. I
Well,
know you said
here's
you were already, yeah, in that, but
yeah, I was already in that. And I think that, for me growing up, like I said, the daughter of immigrants, but also being, a Black woman in America, is a political thing, whether you're a political person or not.
mm,
And so, that there were, uh, I feel like I had no choice but to, before that, start to be on a path of self discovery, and realizing that, external validation is not it. You
Mm.
know, external validation is not it. So, you know, for me, for example, you know, I have several degrees and all of that stuff, but that is not, none of
Not
that
it.
is, that's not it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So the deep work deepened because you'd
Yes.
already been on the path. The deep
I'd
work
already been
deepened.
on the path.
And
Yeah.
you discovered that you were recreating this basically what you grew up in. You like,
Yes.
oh, I
Yes.
can see I'm being like my mom, or I'm reacting, right? Like, yeah.
Absolutely.
And then what happened?
So, you know, like it's interesting, like they say, you know, hurt people. Well, empowered people empower people, you
Mm,
know? And
love that.
so as I, you know, started to go down this road of, you know, finding myself, if you will, to use like a cliche term, um, it first was along the pathway of love and relationships and romance. I started to do a lot of research in that area and study in that area, and people started to ask me for advice in that arena. And so my first entry into really into this world that we're in at this moment was through the lens of love, sex, dating, and relationships.
Mm.
But all roads from love, sex, dating, relationships led to self-love.
All
Every
roads lead back
every
here.
every relationship problem is a self-love problem, a self-love challenge. And
Mm.
so it was really interesting. At one point I had an advice column for adult women in Essence magazine, which is the #1 magazine for Black women, and I had an on a teen site an advice column for teen girls, and I realized they were asking the same question. Women in their 40s and women who are 15 were saying the same things. Well, why doesn't he like me? Well, why
Mm.
won't he call me back? Well, why does this person not see, you know, well, what's wrong with me? Am I
Mm.
broken? You know, all of those kinds of things, which really come back to loving and accepting ourselves. That's the part of the link that we leave out, you know, accept self acceptance.
Mhm.
Self love has to begin with self acceptance. And so, with my last book, The Sacred Bombshell Handbook of Self Love, I wrote that book because, you know, for you and I, and, you know, everyone who is younger than us, we're fortunate enough to have grown up in a time where people were already saying, just love yourself, you know,
Yeah.
love yourself. But no one would tell us how. And what I realize is it's because they didn't know.
Mm.
So as amazing as they are, like, you know, my mother is the best mom, you know, on the planet. As amazing as she is, she couldn't teach me how to love myself because she didn't know.
Mm.
Because she didn't know. And so, you know, she wanted me to love myself. She gave me every advantage and every, you know, pathway or, you know, all of those things, but still didn't know how to teach me how to love myself because she didn't know. No one had taught her.
Yeah. So it is something. I love what you're saying because this brings us back to hurt people. And I love that. And how I never like flipped that and said empowered people empower people,
Yes.
right? Loved people love people. You could do this any way, any which way to Sunday. And so our parents, they do the best they can with what
Best
they
they
got.
can. Yep. The
And
very
then
best they can.
it's up to us. It's up to us to say, huh, that worked or it didn't work,
Right.
and or that served or it didn't serve, and or I'm gonna keep that or I'm gonna let that one go. And so I love that. We, I'm a mom, and so there are things in my parenting that I know consciously I will not do what my mom did because I know what that felt like. It's a conscious thing. And there are also things that I hear, experience, see myself doing that I'm like, oh crap, right? Like, and so there is this level of consciousness, meaning awakeness, being awake to who we are, being awake to how we react and respond. So, what do you say about self-love, but just waking up, especially in the situation we find ourselves in?
Yes. So, you know, I say all the time, you know, the well meaning people who raised us, you know,
Yes,
well
yes,
meaning people who raised us, you
yes.
know, like you said, you know, did the best that we can. And now we get to reparent
Mm,
ourselves. Now we get to reparent ourselves. And I firmly believe that, you know, you not only heal those who, when you heal yourself, you heal those who were before and you heal those who came afterward.
mm,
And so even being, you know, in this pandemic, here in this home with my mom and my dad, and keeping like a vigilant eye on them. Yesterday, my dad, it was like he just had to get outside. So he went and he sat in the car. He didn't want to sit on the porch because some other people were sitting there, the neighbors, and that kind of thing. So he went and he sat in the car for a little bit. And the whole time I stood in the door, just to make sure, okay, is he gonna when's he gonna get out? Is he gonna be is he gonna be talking? And first it was annoying, like, okay, I'm standing in this door, like waiting. And then it was like, how many times did they probably stand in a door waiting for me?
Oh,
Like,
oh,
and
yeah.
so, everyone who is on this path, the people who you and I have energetically called to this conversation right now, spirit, universe, whatever terminology you use, is calling us higher. And we are on the front lines of this next evolution. And I know that sounds magnanimous and sounds, maybe crazy to some people, but there is a global shift that is happening. All of us are saying to ourselves in one way or another, oh, I can't wait for things to get back to normal. But there will be a very different normal, not only in how we interact physically, that's one thing, but just energetically, in realizing that, this is the time. There's no, well, ultimately one day I want to, when I get a chance, I'm going. No,
Yeah.
you gotta do it today. You gotta live it today. And the fact that we woke up today, the fact that our eyes are open, we right now are abundant. We are wealthy beyond measure. If you are watching this, no matter what your situation is, the fact that you have a device to be able to watch this is wonderful, is incredible. It means that we were born at the best possible time. Can we imagine being in this kind of situation where we're not able to connect with each other? So this is the time to go within and listen to your guidance. Listen to what that still small voice is telling you that you should do. And it'll look different to different people. So to Goddess Kristen and I, it'll look like us leading our tribes and going forward and putting our voice out there. But for some people, it may mean maybe it's your church, your synagogue, your mosque. Maybe it's just the people in your household.
Right.
And you're supposed to just be all you can be for them. And all of that is a very noble calling. But this is a time of calling and a time of us that is, we are being required to answer that calling.
What's your mechanism, perspective, tools, coaching around fear?
So I love that you asked me this because, part of the pivot that I've been feeling, we've all been feeling a pivot, like I said, no longer business as usual, is to be more, and it's bringing tears to my eyes, to be more upfront about the fact that, that my message is about transmuting fear, about, helping us to take whatever fear that we have that is holding us back and transmuting it into forward movement. And so fear wears different hats. Fear wears fancy hats, so for overachievers, for example, fear may look like
sitting still. Yes, I love it.
Right? So you ask your average overachiever, or us RSGs, as I call us, really smart girls, we'll say, well, I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed, or it'll look like procrastination or perfectionism. But that's just fear in some party pants.
I would love to see that picture. That would be so fun.
So fear wears many, many different faces, many different hats. And the first thing is to get real with it, to allow ourselves to feel our feelings. The fact that we cannot sit quietly and feel our feelings, is the cause of so many of our challenges and our issues. So we have to feel it before we transmute it. And that was something that I feel like, in my opinion, was something that was a little bit off with, the prior self-help movement, and thank goodness for all of our
predecessors.
Predecessors,
Yeah.
But saying we're going to just think positively, that I don't believe is helpful in helping us to truly evolve. It's like putting sugar over poop.
Yeah. It's like everything's fine.
Right.
And there's a fire in the, off camera. Exactly. Yeah. So,
Yes.
So transmuting fear. So there's for the overachievers, it's overwhelm. what about for those people who are in the state of, I just want it to go back to the way it was. I mean, like, I don't like change.
Yeah. I feel you and
Mm,
I love you because I am you, if that is your
mm,
situation, Um, here's the thing that life is change. If we look at Mother Nature, all that happens is change. Whenever we feel stuck, it's not because there's not change happening. It's because we keep changing it back to the same old thing.
mm,
So, if you are fearing change, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to create some sort of daily ritual, something very simple. It could be a morning ritual, could be an evening ritual, something that feels steady and consistent, especially in these times where we don't know what is going on. We don't know. I have a beautiful apartment that I love so much, and I don't know when I will be back there. I'm paying for an apartment I'm not in.
mm,
We don't know. So you have to add whatever routines, whatever rituals are able to help you to stay sane, or
mm,
able to help you to just have as we look, Mother Nature is rhythmic, and so every day at noon, it can be as simple as turning on your music and just dancing it out. Allow yourself to have that, but also baby yourself and support yourself. And as I said, mother yourself in the way that, for example, when change was happening, maybe we wish that a parent been more gentle with us and said, hey, I know that this is scary. I know this is scary, but you know what? We're in this together, and we're going to walk together, and we're going to figure it out day by day, minute by minute if we have to. And so that's
mm.
how you want to be with yourself. Not the I'm all for hustle. Of course, I'm a New Yorker. I appreciate that, but that's old, outdated
It is
thinking.
all outdated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
alignment over hustle.
yeah, I love it. I love it. It's funny because in the past, since we last spoke, I have been really diving into. I got masculine down. Like up until recently, I got the push, I got the drive, I got the go, the not stop, I can handle all of it. I had that down. Didn't work. I will tell you right now, it didn't work. And so now I'm transitioning into, how do I nurture this piece of myself over here, which is the feminine, which is the stillness, which is receptivity, which is creation, which is listening, which is stillness, which is all of it. And now I'm over here where I'm like, I know I can flex this muscle, and I know that muscle will take over the other baby muscle that I've been working on.
Yeah.
Because this is really great. I wasn't even planning on asking you this, but I really want to know. You, to me, are divine feminine goddess. You call, you're the what is it? This midwife?
The
Please.
self-worth midwife. But as you know, like, yes, all my work is all goddess work. It's all,
Yes.
yes.
So what is that? What does it look like? The integration, like, I guess for me, and this is really truly, like, I'm almost being selfish in this moment, but I want to know, because I think this would be really great. It's almost like, you know, uh, meditation is like, get still. And then it's like, okay, great. You got still, stuff came through, you're listening, you heard it, it resonates. And now I want to go and create.
Yeah.
What's your process for that?
Yes. So I love this conversation because, of course, the Sacred Bombshell Handbook of Self-Love is about, it's a divine feminine, the subtitle is the 11 sacred feminine power um, aspects. So
Mm.
that's what all of my work is about. So I, like you, started out very much, what I call it is over yanged. If you're in a,
Got it. That was my
you're,
first
you've got
tattoo. It
some
was
like
a yin
yang
yang. Yeah,
energy.
I got it.
Yeah,
Over yanked. You have so
you're
many
over
good. You have so
you're
many good ones. I'm writing them down. Over yanked. Got it. Keep
over
going.
yanged, and so many of us are over yanged, and so we need to come back in touch with the yin energy, because then we're out of balance.
Mm.
And so, one of the things, as you said, intuition and guidance, that's a big one. Learning how to listen to and trust our guidance. And so, actually, I'm going to pull a card for you because you mentioned the divine
Oh my
feminine from
gosh, that's so
the
funny.
goddess card. So we'll do that in a sec. But then there are little things that you can do, like getting back in touch with Mother Nature. So in our world, it is totally normal for us to walk around on stilts. And I love high heels, walk around on stilts. But if someone is barefoot, that seems odd. If someone is,
Mm-hmm.
barefoot on earth, that seems odd. But that is a regenerative process, putting your bare feet, your bare skin on earth. It is so regenerative. So that is something that you can do. Something else I call beauty as a spiritual practice. There's a term called nizhoni, which is a Native American term. I forget which tribe off the top of my head, but it's in my last book. So forgive me if anyone's watching for forgetting the exact location. It's in my last book, The Sacred Bombshell Handbook of Self-Love, but it's Nizhani, and it's beauty as a spiritual practice. So noticing beauty as a meditation. Meditation doesn't have to be just, the sitting meditation. There's moving meditation. There's dancing meditation. There's mindfulness. So with every meal, sit and just look at and appreciate and feeling the appreciation for every meal, letting all of your senses, sensuality, and the true meaning of the word, so the taste, the smell, the touch, all of that when you are eating, and the appreciation, of course, now more than ever for the hands that have prepared it for us, gotten it to us, all of those sorts of things, bringing us back to the present moment. The power is in the present moment. And then for someone, especially like you, Goddess Kristen, who are an entrepreneurial force, the power of receiving. When we are over yanged, oftentimes we are out of alignment with the sacred feminine, the divine yin practice of receiving. And so, we over deliver and undercharge our, right? We, don't show up fully for ourselves as we would for others. We make excuses why we're on the last person on the totem pole. Yeah. And so learning how to receive. In fact, if you did a sacred practice of receiving, a 28-day practice of receiving, and kept a juicy receiving diary of like all of the ways that you've allowed yourself to receive, that is a beautiful sacred feminine practice that works in all aspects of our lives, from our relationships to our business, to how we show up in the world. Giving is wonderful, but receiving is equally as wonderful. And if you're doing one without the other, then you're out of balance. You can't plant seeds without reaping them. You can't, reap from the earth what you haven't planted. So it has to be, you reap and you sow, you give and you receive.
I love it. The cycle. It's an entire cycle. You can't have it. It's like light without dark. It's, I get it. I get it. There are people who might be watching this who may call me and say, I heard what Abiola told you about your 28 days of receiving, and I'm going to check in with you because it's been, I love you. Yeah, you got it. You nailed it. So good. What do you make of what's next? So, here we are in this situation we find ourselves in. What's next?
So I'll share with you my rose quartz crystal ball. It's hard to see the color, the ring light. And this beautiful rose quartz crystal ball I've brought it with me to my goddess retreats in Bali and Belize, in London, last year in Paris, and it has all of this like beautiful, powerful energy. It always sets off the airport security.
Wow.
And, I'm sharing that to say that, what is next for all of us? As I said, we're being called forward and called higher, but it starts first with yourself, with you taking good care of yourself, with realizing that, I'm finding a lot of women, who are in my coaching groups and in my courses are beating themselves up for not being more productive at this moment. Or, people are tweeting out things like, Sir Isaac Newton discovered, whatever during this, during a pandemic, or Shakespeare wrote, whatever during and it's like, wow, okay, well, we figured out how to use Be Live instead of Zoom or whatever, like, so be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with yourself and realize that this kind of going within, like all of us got kind of sent to our rooms for a moment,
Y'all are grounded. You are grounded.
Yeah, we're all grounded. And it's very interesting because nature is kind of clearing itself as we are kind of retracted from it.
Mm,
There are places where they said in the Himalayas that they can see the Himalayas where they haven't been able to see them
mm,
for years because there's less pollution and animals are reclaiming, certain spaces. And so right now, go within and get clear on what your next moment is. And it may not be in sync at all with what you were doing before. And
mm,
that is okay. Allow yourself to look like the crazy weird one if suddenly you start talking about something that's totally different. It's okay.
yeah.
It's all good. So for example, for me, right now I have a course for a spiritpreneur to authorpreneur course where I'm teaching, my beautiful spiritpreneurs how to write an empowerment book.
Mm,
And it's a 90-day course, and everyone was in it and they're grooving and they're writing their books, and then all of this hit.
mm,
And so people's lives have shifted dramatically, and I gave them permission and said, no, 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 no excuse, no, no, you don't have to apologize for whatever is happening in your life. We'll just take this slower. And
mm.
it's okay that, it's yang energy to say this has to move forward the
Yes.
way it's been moving forward. No,
Yeah.
we're going to shift it. We're going to move it. And even for the book that I was writing in the course along with them, which is a very different book than the book that I was like, okay, I need to go within. And
Mhm.
this is my goddess book that I'm writing now. And that's what I'm going to write in this program with them and put forward. So go within. Trust your intuition and your guidance. Hear what it is, learn to listen to it, maybe for the first time.
Mhm.
We're the
Mhm.
only animals on the planet that don't listen to our instinct and intuition. If a bear hears go left, they're going to go left. For
Yes.
us, we're going to go, oh, well, I know I've been asking. We're like, we pray on things, we meditate on things, and then, guidance tells us to do something. We say, well, not that. You got something
Right?
else?
Yeah.
We're like, if only there was an answer. We're not looking right or left. If only there was some sort of answer. And then start to move forward on this bold new pathway. And so
Mhm.
that's what we're doing. So I'm gonna pull your card on that. I'm gonna pull your card.
Mm. I am receiving this. I am in such receiving. I love this so much.
Yay, yay. Receiving. So your first receiving. Here's your receiving practice for today. All right, so this is your guidance. Let's just get still. Just breathe. How good that feels to just breathe. It's for all of us, particularly for women identified people. From the time that we're born, we're sucking in, we're told don't take up space. Right now, let's just take up space. Just breathe. Yeah, just breathe and just take up space. And let's call all parts of ourselves back to ourselves. The parts of yourself that may be on the bottom of someone else's shoe, parts of yourself that may be what someone else hung their dreams and thoughts and stories on, the parts of yourself where someone might have tried to project their insecurities upon you, calling all of your energy back to you. Now, Goddess Kristen, please give me a number between 1 and 11.
10.
10. Okay, perfect 10. So let's pull. We're pulling from, this is the Womanifesting deck. This is my Womanifesting deck of goddess affirmation cards. And these are fertility cards that are all about giving birth to whatever it is,
Oh,
a book, a course, a human baby,
oh,
you
I got
know,
so
whatever.
many big things birthing. This is fantastic. I'm so excited.
Yay, yay. Okay, so we're pulling, so we're going for 10. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And these are all global fertility goddesses that are in this deck. Okay, so I've pulled the top card. Woo! And this card is all about having a voice.
Of course it is.
Yeah, having a voice. So this is goddess Asaseya, who is
Mm.
a West African deity. This is a nurturing card, and the affirmation on it is I speak my life into existence. My voice has power.
Ah!
Speak my life into existence. My voice has power. So, for you, beautiful Kristen, I would say, with all of the ways that you show up in the world, For other people who are looking at this, they probably think, wow, okay, Kristen, she plays full out. She plays so big. She's like doing the darn thing. But I can see you because I am you. And for, again, us RSGs, really smart girls, we can play at a 5 or a 4, and it looks to other people like a 10.
You're calling me forth right now, and I love it. Keep going. I am so receiving this. Yep.
And so for other people, it may look like, oh my God, but she's already doing all the things. But you're not doing what you know that you could be doing. And I share this with you not to beat yourself up, not to make you wrong or shame you or anything like that. That you are being called to play a bigger game than you have ever played before. And it will make people say, who does she think she is? It will make you say, who do I think I am? But that's okay. That's okay. You take baby steps, kitten meows until it can roar. And the beautiful thing is that your baby steps look like lioness, moving forward to others. But this is not about others. This is your relationship with you and what your ancestors, what spirit is calling you to do, what the universe is calling upon you to do. Play a bigger game. Dare to play a bigger game.
What is that sound?
And so it's very interesting because that is the wind that is rattling through from my parents, like the chimney. The wind like came rattling.
Yeah, of course it did in that moment. You have got to be kidding me. Ooh, I'm like, someone's drumming for me. Wow. And for you watching, this is not just for me.
Yes. If you're watching this, it's not by accident that you're here. It is not by accident at all that if you're watching this, you too are being called to play a bigger game, to show up fully, to take up space, to dare to do what we get so practiced in what we know how to do. But you're called now to tread on some steps where you may fall on your face. That's the thing. We may, when we're called forward, it doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect, but that's okay. We fall on our face and we learn and we grow and we move forward. And that's how anything grows and evolves. When your kids, are learning how to walk and they stumble and fall, we don't say, oh, well, too bad you're not a walker. You just don't get it. It's just not for you. No.
Yeah.
It's the same with ourselves. And so this is actually an amazing time, and I can't wait to see what you do.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe. Of course I can believe. I keep saying I can't believe, but I can believe because it's already out there. It's already manifested. Holy crap. Thank you. Can't wait to share what actually this is. So I'm so just, All right. So here's my next question. Tell me what you have right now going on, or what you're working on right now that you're the most excited about.
Okay. So I am actually, this is such, it's like, this and this and this. Okay. So I'm most excited about my Spiritpreneur Visibility Lab and the Spiritpreneur Visibility Program that I told you about, which is about helping, women like us, spiritual women leaders. I like to use a lot of triggering language, leaders, gurus, experts, trigger.
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Yep. To write our empowerment books and get our knowledge into the world. And so it started off, I still have, the visibility program, which is about helping you learn how to shine and, circumvent your fear, dance with your fear, really, and shine and play a bigger game, as we're talking about. If you are a woman, a coach, healer, guru, speaker, author, all of those things. And then so many people in my program came to me and said, we want to write a book, write a book. And so that's what I'm really excited about, helping people like us, people like you who are watching this, to be able to shine, to put your voice into the world. Having a voice, whether you're wanting to do it through a blog, a podcast, a program, a business, or book. So I'm
Mm,
really, really excited about that. That is the Visibility Lab, and it's through, doing the inner work, embracing the shadow. There's a lot of shadow work that is happening in, the work that I'm doing, and shadowing and birthing. So
mm,
addressing your shadow,
mm,
transmuting your fear, and giving birth to the project, the sacred work that you came to do.
mm. I'm so, so glad that I had you on because we haven't talked in a while and I knew you'd be up to amazing things. And I knew that I didn't know that you would do this whole card thing, which is just such an amazing gift. So thank you so much for that because really that was just exceptionally generous and I love it. And also, where can people buy your card, your deck?
Yes. Okay. So I have two free gifts. I have a free self-sabotage kit. I don't know if I can paste a link. I don't think I can paste a link here.
Okay, I'll do it. I'm going to put all your links on my page. It'll be great.
Okay,
Yep.
let's see. Wait, nope, that's not me. Not touch anything. Okay, all right. So you'll share the free self sabotage kit, and then there's also a free for the people who are interested in the book lab. There's a free course that they can go to richgoddess.club. Richgoddess.club is the link for that free masterclass for people who are wanting to write an empowerment book. And then for people who are wanting to buy this deck or any of I have 3 different goddess decks of cards. For people who are wanting to buy these decks, you can go to womanifesting.com, which is my site, womanifesting.com. And the card deck that we pulled from today is the Womanifesting deck. Okay, so go to womanifesting.com and you can find it there.
So what I'm going to do is there's going to be a bunch of stuff on my page. In order to get Abiola's free gift, go to soulwitandwisdom.com and she'll be the first one at the top of the page. If you're watching now, she just goes down the page. So we'll look for her, but she's at the top of the page today. Once we get done, I will have a link to her free gift, but I'm also going to put up the link to richgoddess.club and womanifesting.com right under your picture so that people will be able to get all of it, free gifts and all of it, all the stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you. My girl Shauna Scott's watching. Hi, sweetheart. I love you, Shauna. So this is one of my favorite questions. How do you like to infuse your life? I mean, I look at you and I think sparkly goddess, radiant unicorn. Like, I don't imagine that you're ever, and that's just me. I'm like, she's always happy and but you are tapped into the highest vibration. I get that. What's your most favorite way to infuse wit or humor or lightness or joy into your life?
Oh my gosh. So I'm glad you asked that. So, like I said, beauty as a spiritual practice. So coming out in a pandemic, like most people are going to grab like essentials and things like that. My essentials that I grabbed when I was leaving my house, like in addition to, of course, my goddess cards and my crystals and all of that, I grabbed some magic wands. I grabbed, and this is, although I have my natural hair that I love, this is a beautiful, like a wig that is like a fun wig. I was like, all right, if the world is ending, we need,
I'm going out beautiful. So that's your way to feel joyful.
Yeah, adornment. Adornment is so undervalued and underestimated. And I say this as, we were raised by a generation of feminists who, again, because they had to devalue, our beauty and those kinds of things, because there had to be an overcorrection for them in what they were experiencing and all of those kinds of things in order to feel valued for who they are. But now the great thing is we get to bring our whole selves to the party. So your sensuality, your sexuality, your beauty, your wisdom, your wit, your soul, all of it you get to bring to the party. So, for me, my spiritual practice, of course, includes meditation. I have meditation albums and all of those kinds of things, but also just getting dressed up and being fancy and having my magic wand and being here with my goddess sisters,
But I love that you called it, there's something I've always had I love that word adornment, because for me, for a long time, it was like, well, be humble and, don't stand out and don't rest too much on your looks and all of these messages, right? That were even like underneath subconsciously taught about beauty,
Yes.
that it makes us shallow, or it makes us vain, or it makes us immoral, or whatever it is. But when you say adornment, that just shifted so many things for me. Like, no matter what I look like, no matter how much I weigh, no matter how old I am, I adorn myself for who I am, for the goddess that I am. Like,
Yes.
that's what I get.
That's it exactly.
You just knock me with your magic
Yes.
wand. I accept that. I receive that. Okay, here's my last juicy question before we wrap up. You're going to love it. What is the meaning of life?
Ooh. Oh, my goodness. As long as it's a little question. The meaning of life is to evolve and to grow. You know, that we are already different people than we were at the beginning of this conversation. And so, you know, if you are a comfort zone person, I get that. That
Mhm.
makes sense because, you know, in order, there was a time where, you know, standing out, being different than your tribe was deadly.
Hmm.
You know, so there, it makes sense. These are not fears that we're making up in our head.
Right.
They come from somewhere, and they come from somewhere powerful. The wonderful thing is that we get to choose something else now.
Mm.
So, you know, it's realizing that your children, for example, you know, they you cannot give them, for example, your upbringing that you had, because the world is different and they're different. They're different beings.
Mm.
They are accelerated beings.
Thank God.
You know, thank God.
God.
They are accelerated humans.
Mm.
And so, for all of us, for each and every one of us, our jobs are to leave this planet a little bit different than we found it, to clean up our portion of it, our little corner of the world, whatever that is,
Mm.
you know. And that is the meaning of life. I was in a workshop once, you know, many years ago with Yoko Ono, and you know, it was an art workshop at this really cool place in New York called the Kitchen, this art space. And I remember that someone had asked her, you know, for, it was like during, I guess that maybe it was after when the war started after 2001, you know, after 9/11. And someone asked her, you know, like, well, what should we be doing, what's the meaning with you know, all of these questions. And I remember that people got frustrated because she said in her very profound way to go home and mend the cups in your cabinet. And people were like, well, what is she talking about?
Mm.
And I remember, you know, understanding that to mean, you know, take care of your own space, clean up your own life in your own backyard. You know, it's one thing to look and criticize, you know, a government and a, you know, whatever, and all of that is important and has its place too. But how are we living? How are you living? What's your contribution? What's the energy that you're bringing forward? Are
Mm.
you doing your part? You know, so that I believe is the meaning of life, to thrive, not
Mm.
to survive, but to thrive. That's the meaning of life.
I love that. I love that. And it sounds a lot like one of my most favorite quotes, the unexamined life is not worth living.
Yes.
Right? It is, we're here to evolve.
Yeah.
I can completely agree. I love it. I love you. I honor you so deeply and so profoundly for being here and for showing up, you know, unapologetically. No matter what we have to, it doesn't matter where you are, but there's usually something that we have to, you know, push through in order to get to that next level. And so the gift that you gave me today, which is to speak up and step in and do the work that I know that I'm here to do and do it in a bigger way. Thank you. Thank you for that. And for whoever's listening, you may thank Abiola as well. And this is literally just a reflection of really what's happening right now out in the world. We have choice. We really have choice, even when the circumstances don't appear to be, you know, to be that way. So Abiel, is there anything you want to say before we wrap?
I want to just say, you know, again, just to reiterate, you know, having compassion for yourself and having compassion for everyone who is around us, you know, that we're all experiencing grief in
Mm.
some way, shape, or form. Grief for the world that was, you know, some people are grieving the loss of life, you know, grief for people who have loss of income, loss of opportunities. So just be gentle, to the people that you encounter. Just, know that they are fighting a battle that you may not fully understand, and be gentle with yourself, for you have compassion for yourself on this journey as well.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I honor
Thank
you.
I honor you.
And go to soulwitandwisdom.com to get her free gifts and get connected to her. This woman is truly amazing. And thank you so much for being here, Abiola.
Thank you, Goddess Kristen.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.